powerful. He's so vicious. Like his one punch power at 135 is like nobody else's in the division. Like the way he starches people is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets so much torque and power into his punches, and he's so fast that he covers ground and his uppercuts, they're just devastating.
Yeah, for sure. I think I can stop him. I'm much quicker than him. He's much stronger, much bigger, but we just gotta wait and see until we get in there and test the waters.
When Joe Rogan saw Gervonta Tank Davis step into the press room before his exhibition fight with Jake Paul, his reaction said it all. Rogan, a man who has seen some of the most powerful athletes on the planet, looked genuinely stunned. Davis didn't appear like the same fighter the world was used to. His body was thicker, denser, and carved with more strength than ever before. The transformation wasn't just physical, it carried an aura that demanded attention. Rogan's expression showed that even he hadn't expected Davis to show up looking like this. It was one of those rare moments when someone pushes past every limit of what's expected and turns silence into...
I'm a giant Gervonta fan. I think that guy is so unusual. His style so unusual, and his patience.
The Leo Santa Cruz fight was really something for me because Leo Santa Cruz is a technician, Mexican style, and the fight was very close before Tank stopped him. But he has that power that can end it.
He finds these openings, and he sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient. Like when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence in that.
When the face-off began, Davis carried himself differently. He wasn't there to flex or show dominance. He played it calm, cool, and almost mysterious. Every move seemed thought out, the way he folded his arms, how he turned slightly sideways, how he controlled his breathing. It was as if he didn't want the world to focus on the new size he was hiding, but rather the danger that lived behind it. Even while staying humble in posture, the power in his presence couldn't be masked. Joe Rogan later explained that Jake Paul's behavior in these situations isn't about competition anymore. It's about marketing, headlines, and building hype. According to him, these fights are designed to pull casual viewers in through shock value and spectacle, not true sporting balance. Rogan believes Jake has mastered the art of self-promotion, using boxing as a stage not to prove greatness, but to make sure his name never leaves the conversation. Davis usually rules the lightweight division at 135 pounds. But this fight shattered that standard. Jake Paul, who's fought near the cruiserweight limit, stands far heavier. This time, the catchweight was locked at 195 pounds, a number that made fans question everything. The negotiation itself became a drama before the first punch was even thrown. For many, the weight gap alone turned this match into something far beyond an exhibition. It became a test of willpower, risk, and pure courage.
That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it,
watching
it
it
the
is
fuck out
hard.
of me.
Watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also the sports betting apps. They introduced like chat apps in them in Australia, so it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you in.
thing.
They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to draw you in any way they can.
Yeah.
For because of the huge difference in size, the fight rules had to be adjusted. Both men will wear 12-ounce gloves heavier than what Davis is used to. It might sound small, but in boxing, those few ounces change everything. They make punches feel different, slow reactions by fractions of a second, and even alter how defense works. Trainer Calvin Ford spoke honestly about his concern, saying those gloves could dull Tank's natural explosiveness forcing him to adapt in ways he's never had to before.
We were yelling so much about him fighting someone, fight somebody your size. His next opponent is by far the most credentialed guy ever fought actively in his prime. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. He fights at 135 pounds.
Sport's concern wasn't just about the gloves. It was about rhythm, timing, and how Davis's power translates against a man nearly 60 pounds heavier. Every fighter knows that the smallest adjustment can change everything inside the ring. Still, Tank's camp believes that no matter what's altered, his precision and knockout instinct will always break through. The challenge isn't just physical, it's mental, and that's where Davis has always thrived.
The Jake Paul versus Tank fight is getting really weird. Gervonta looks scared for his life because the rules are out. They're crazy. Oh, so everyone thought that the fight was at 190. Instead it's at 195, and this weight difference is scaring the life out of little Tank.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
The next dispute comes with the gloves. Little Tank is used to fighting in 8-ounce gloves. Baby glove. This fight will be in 12. Hands might be too small. Also, Tank just fought in a 12 3-minute round fight against Roach. Yes, and now he's fighting in 10 3-minute rounds, which isn't too bad. Well done, Jake. Exhibition, though. Can he win? Yes, he can actually win. It will be overlooked by 3 sanctioned judges. So he can actually still win and knock him out. But here's the trick. It's body punches only. And there's a reason. That's because Tank said, look, this is a bit unfair. I don't want to punch up. I want to punch at my head height. Where does it fall? At Jake Paul's belly. Oof. So apparently we've heard there's no knockdown rules, but aside from that, it's a pretty well-rounded fight. Oh, yeah, and there's some drug testing involved. But Jake Paul for the win.
Legendary trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas had his own take after watching the two face off. He couldn't ignore the size gap and joked that Tank might need a ladder just to reach Jake's chin. But beneath the humor, Atlas's words carried truth. He admitted that while skill and style differences are part of boxing's beauty, this matchup stretches the meaning of fair. He compared it to Canelo Alvarez moving up to face Terence Crawford, but quickly pointed out that Crawford was never this small. Tank is giving up too much. The mismatch, in his eyes, isn't just physical. It's structural, and that's what makes it dangerous.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s. So he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You get what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mismatch. It's supposed to be an expedition. What, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Tank don't really care, So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So again, he can weigh the 10s and we weigh the 8s. Then we got to fight.
As reactions flood across social media, fans, journalists, and analysts are all voicing concern. Some call it brave. Others call it reckless. The conversation isn't only about Davis stepping up. It's about what this fight represents for the sport itself. Are these exhibitions still about boxing? Or are they drifting toward an entertainment that risks too much for the sake of attention? Joe Rogan calls it unfamiliar territory, a place where the line between sport and spectacle is slowly fading.
Right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract. But I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. but the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but you know, a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping. And it made me think, and I'm going to ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm going to ask him, because I know he's an expert in this area, but it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face, where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, a.k.a. Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there. And I thought I had it right, and it was confirmed to me. It's Rocky 3.
UFC President Dana White hasn't stayed silent either. He's been vocal, calling out Jake Paul for choosing smaller opponents and insisting he face fighters closer to his own size. Yet, even while criticizing, he gave Gervonta his flowers, saying Davis hits harder than Floyd Mayweather himself. But, he added, the problem isn't power. It's reach. It's weight. It's mass. Dana said it straight. If you want real respect, fight someone your own size. His honesty hit hard, and many fans agreed.
Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. It's insane. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully.
Through it all, Joe Rogan's respect for Gervonta Davis remains untouched. After his knockout over Rolando Romero, Rogan called Tank a rising force of nature, someone who doesn't just fight, but dominates with art and destruction blended together. And after his win against Ryan Garcia, Rogan described him as quietly terrifying, a man who doesn't need to shout to make the world feel his danger. Tank's calm before the storm is what makes him truly special. He may not speak loud, but every punch he throws speaks for him. And this time, against a much bigger man, those punches will carry more than power, they'll carry purpose.